I was only 10 when my world began to shake. My name is Charlotte, and that evening my parents sat me down in the living room, their faces serious, their eyes sharp, their voices strangely calm but full of pressure. They told me that my older brother Ben was sick. Very sick. They said his liver was failing, that he needed a part of mine to live. I remember staring at them, my small hands clenching the edge of the chair, my heart racing. A liver, mine. I felt my breath grow shallow. My mother smiled, but it was the kind of smile that hides fear, the kind that demands obedience. "You are the only match, Charlotte," she said softly but firmly. "You are the only one who can save him." The words hit me like cold water. Save him, only me. Why so fast, why no one else? My father added. The doctors said tomorrow is best, the sooner the better. We have already signed the hospital papers, you just need to agree. His tone was not asking, it was telling. I turned my eyes to Ben. He was sitting on the couch, a blanket over his legs, a phone in his hands. He did not look like he was dying. His cheeks had color, his fingers moved fast over the screen, and when I looked at him, he looked away. No tubes, no machines, just a quiet boy who did not meet my eyes. That night I could not sleep. The house was silent, but my mind was loud. Words kept echoing. You are the only match, you are the only one, save him. I stared at the ceiling and tried to imagine the surgery. Would it hurt? Would I wake up? What if something went wrong? Why did no one ask me what I wanted? The next morning was chaos. The house was full. Relatives came early, aunt, uncle, grandmother, even neighbors who barely spoke to us. They all acted like it was a celebration. "You are a brave girl, Charlotte," they said. "You will save your brother, you will be a hero." I tried to eat breakfast, but the food felt heavy in my mouth. Ben sat across the table, laughing at a joke my uncle told. He looked fine, not weak, not pale. He even argued with my cousin about a video game. Something in my stomach twisted. Around noon, my father handed me a folder. "Sign here," he said, his finger pointed at a blank line. "It is just a form, the hospital needs your consent." I held the pen, but my hand was shaking. "Can I read it?" I asked. "There is no time," my mother said, placing her hand over mine. "We already read it, trust us. Do this for Ben." Do this for Ben. The words were sharp, heavy, final. Later, as I sat in my room, Kevin, my 7-year-old nephew, ran in, his small face pale, his hands clutching a toy car. He closed the door fast. "Aunt Charlotte," he whispered, "don't do it. Don't go to the hospital." My heart jumped. "What are you saying?" I asked. He shook his head, eyes wide. "I heard them talking. It is not like they told you. It is not about saving him. It is about money, big money. They said something about insurance and a deal." My hands turned cold. "Kevin, tell me everything," I whispered, but before he could, footsteps came from the hallway. He slipped out quickly, leaving me with my heart pounding and my mind full of questions. That night I stayed awake, listening to the sounds of the house, the quiet breathing of people who said they loved me. Something inside me screamed that tomorrow was not about family or love. It was about something else, something dark. The morning sun rose, but the light felt heavy, not warm. "My name is Charlotte, I am 10 years old, and today they want to take a part of me." My parents moved fast, preparing bags, making calls, arranging the car. Ben sat by the window, headphones in his ears, his eyes on the street outside. He looked calm, too calm. I tried to speak at breakfast. "Can we wait? Can we talk to another doctor?" I asked quietly. My father's fork hit the plate with a sharp sound. "Charlotte, we already spoke to the best doctors. This is final. Stop asking questions. Stop asking, just obey, just give." Kevin was not at the table. I searched for him in the hallway and found him hiding behind the big coat stand. His little hands gripped the edge of the wall. "Charlotte," he whispered. "I heard more. They said Ben is fine. They said the money comes if you do this fast." The words cut through me like cold wind. I crouched down. "Who said that?" I asked. He looked scared. "Uncle Peter and Dad. They said something about a payment from an insurance company. They said you are small, you will heal, and no one will ask questions." I wanted to scream, but my throat closed. Insurance, money, a deal. Was this why everyone smiled too much? Was this why Ben did not look sick? In the afternoon, the house filled again. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all saying sweet words, touching my hair, calling me brave. "You will be proud later," they said. "This is family duty." Family duty, that word felt like a chain. I went to Ben's room. The door was half open. I heard voices inside, my father, Ben, and Uncle Peter. "She will not refuse," my father said. "She is a child, we decide. The policy pays double if it is done this month." Ben laughed softly. Easy money, he said, and I get my share. My heart stopped. Easy money, my share. I stepped back, my hands shaking. The hallway spun, my own brother, the one I was supposed to save. That night I pretended to sleep. I heard them in the kitchen, whispering, planning the trip to the hospital. My mother said, "She is scared, but she will obey. Tomorrow morning we leave at 6. Kevin came to my room again, this time with a small flashlight. "We need proof," he whispered. "If we tell the police, they need something real." His small hands held a phone. "I can record them, but we need a plan." I looked at him. He was only 7, but his eyes were sharp, brave. "Tomorrow," I whispered, "before they take me." Sleep never came. The clock moved slow, the shadows on the wall looked like monsters. I thought of the cold hospital lights, the sharp knives, the fake smiles. I thought of my liver, my life being traded for money. At dawn I stood by the window watching the street. Cars passed, birds sang, but in my chest only fear lived. I promised myself I will not be their victim, not without truth, not without a fight. The morning came with cold air and heavy silence. "My name is Charlotte, I am 10, and they think I will stay quiet. They think I will give them what they want. They think I am weak. But I remember every whisper, every cruel word, every greedy plan." Kevin was already awake. His little face looked pale, but his eyes were full of fire. "We do it now," he said, "before they put you in the car." I nodded. My hands were cold as ice, but my mind was clear. We went to the kitchen where my father's phone rested on the table. The voices from the living room grew louder. My mother and Uncle Peter were there, arguing about the hospital papers. Kevin slipped the phone from the table like a shadow. We hid in the pantry. "I will record," he whispered. "You talk to them, make them say it." I stepped out, my legs felt like glass. "Dad," I said, "why is everyone in such a hurry? Why do we need to go now?" He turned, his smile thin as paper. "Charlotte, we told you, Ben is sick. The sooner the better. Do you want your brother to die?" My lips trembled. "But yesterday I heard you said something about money." The room froze. My mother's hand gripped the edge of the chair. Uncle Peter laughed, but the sound was sharp, not warm. "Children hear nonsense," he said. "Go pack your bag." I stepped closer. "Is it true? Is Ben really dying, or is this for the insurance?" My father's face turned red. "Enough," he shouted. "You will do what we say. We are your parents. You owe this family." Kevin's phone caught every word. The car horn honked outside. They were ready to leave. My heart beat like a drum. Kevin slid the phone into his pocket and whispered, "We got it." In the car, Ben sat next to me. He wore a hoodie, his eyes on his phone, a small smirk on his lips. "You nervous?" he asked. I looked at him. "Do you even care what happens to me?" He shrugged. "Family is about sacrifice. You are the youngest. You recover fast. That's how it works." Sacrifice for him, for money. The hospital loomed ahead, tall and cold. White walls, long halls, fake smiles from nurses. They led us to a waiting room. My father signed papers. My mother spoke to the doctor in whispers. Kevin pulled my sleeve. "The police station is near," he whispered. "If we run now, we can show them the recording." My heart raced. The door to the hallway was open. My parents' backs were turned. Ben was busy texting. This was the moment. We ran. Our feet echoed on the cold floor. Nurses shouted. My mother called my name, but we didn't stop. We pushed through the door, down the stairs, into the bright street. The station was 2 blocks away. Every step felt like a war drum, every breath burned. Inside the station, a tall officer looked at us in shock. "What happened?" he asked. Kevin handed him the phone. "They want to take her liver," he said. "They said it's for her brother, but it's for money. We have proof." The officer pressed play. My father's voice filled the room, cold, demanding, real. The officer's eyes turned dark. "Stay here," he said. "You are safe now." For the first time in days, I felt a small light in my chest. Hope. The door of the station closed behind us like a wall. I could still hear the echoes of my father's voice in that recording. Every word burned in my ears. Kevin sat next to me on the bench, his small hands shaking but his eyes steady. He was only 7, yet braver than all of them. 2 officers came back with serious faces. One of them knelt in front of me. "Charlotte," he said, "we called social services and the hospital. They are sending a team. We will protect you." I nodded, but inside I was still trembling. I could already imagine my father's rage, my mother's fake tears, Ben's cold smirk turning into panic. Minutes later, the doors burst open. My parents stormed in with Ben and Uncle Peter. Their faces were red, their voices loud. "Charlotte, how dare you, come with us now," my father shouted. The officer stepped in front of me. "Sir, step back, we heard everything." My mother's voice turned soft, almost sweet. "She is just confused. She is a child, we love her, she doesn't know what she is saying." Kevin stood up. "She knows, and I know too, you wanted to cut her liver for money. You said the insurance will pay more than enough, I heard you, I recorded you." The room froze. Ben's face turned pale. Uncle Peter grabbed his hat and looked at the floor. My father clenched his fists, but the officers were already holding him back. The chief officer played the recording again, this time louder. Every lie, every threat filled the room. There was no escape now. Ben tried to speak. "It was just a plan, we needed money, it's not what it sounds like." I stepped forward. My hands were cold, but my voice was strong. "You said family is about sacrifice, Ben, but you never sacrificed anything. You wanted to destroy me for your comfort." The officers took notes. One of them whispered something into his radio. Then the social worker arrived, a woman with calm eyes and a firm voice. "Charlotte, Kevin, come with me. We will take you somewhere safe." My parents shouted behind us. My mother's voice broke. "Charlotte, we are your family. Without us you are nothing." I turned around and looked at them. "No, without me you are nothing, because now everyone will know who you really are." The social worker led us outside. Cameras flashed. Reporters were already there. Someone leaked the story. The headline on one screen read, "Family tries to sell child's liver for fake operation." Ben hid his face. Uncle Peter tried to run. My father yelled about lies and betrayal, but it was too late. In the safe car, Kevin whispered, "Did you see their faces? They're finished." I nodded, but my heart was still heavy. It's not over yet. They tried to take my life. They tried to make me disappear. I won't just hide now. I will make sure they can never do this again to me or anyone else. That was the moment when fear turned into something else. Not just survival, not just escape. It became revenge. The trial began 3 months later. By then, everything had changed. I was no longer the scared little girl they thought they could control. I was the girl who survived, who fought back, who carried the truth like a weapon. Kevin sat beside me in the courtroom, his legs swinging under the chair but his eyes fierce. He was only 7, but he had become my shield. Across the room, my parents, Uncle Peter and Ben sat with their lawyers. Their faces were pale, drained, hollow. No more fake smiles, no more sweet words about family. Only fear. The prosecutor played the recordings again, showed the documents, the insurance forms, the false medical reports. The room gasped when the numbers appeared on the screen. $21,700, the price they put on my life. I stood to speak, my voice echoed in the hall. They told me family means sacrifice. They said my liver would save my brother, but Ben was never dying. He was lying, they all were. They planned to take a part of me for money, for comfort, for their greed. Ben tried to interrupt, his voice breaking. "Charlotte, I didn't want to hurt you. It was Dad's idea." I turned to him. "You held my hand when they signed the papers. You smiled when I cried. You are just as guilty." The judge's gavel struck. Silence fell. By the end of the day, the verdict was clear. Fraud, conspiracy, child endangerment, and medical malpractice. My parents were sentenced to prison. Uncle Peter lost his medical license and his freedom. Ben was sent to a juvenile facility until he turned 18. But I wasn't finished. A month later, I stood in front of the same house where it all started. Reporters were outside, cameras flashing. I held a letter in my hand, a court order. That house, their car, their savings, all were seized to pay for the damages, and half of it was now mine. Kevin tugged my sleeve. "So this is really yours now?" I nodded. "Yes, and I won't live here, this place is poisoned, but I will make sure it never hides monsters again." We donated the house to a children's charity, a shelter for kids who had nowhere to go, just like us once. The day the locks were changed, my parents were forced to watch from behind the prison van windows. I saw my mother cry. My father looked away. Ben tried to shout something, but the guards pulled him back. I didn't smile. Revenge isn't about smiling, it's about ending the nightmare. Before leaving, I walked to the gate and whispered, so only I could hear. "You taught me what family means. Now the world knows what you mean." Kevin looked at me, eyes wide. "So it's really over?" I shook my head slowly. "No, it's just the beginning. I will grow up strong, Kevin, stronger than they ever wanted me to be, and I will never, ever let anyone treat a child like a price tag again. The cameras clicked one last time as we walked away, 2 kids who destroyed a rotten empire built on lies. And for the first time, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like justice,